This is President Trump. Smash the like button if you're excited to see CM Punk versus Roman Reigns next year.
So, the first match on the card, Team Rhea Ripley versus Team Liv Morgan to live and die in LA. It's the place to be. So, the first two women to open up War Games, it was Super Thick Bayley versus BBW Nia Jax. Man, I must say this. Nia Jax is the most improved fake pro wrestler of 2024. This woman has improved in every category. She used to be the most hated woman in the IWC. And guess what? It seems like Sasha Banks is now the new Nia Jax in terms of nobody likes Sasha Banks. Who would have thought that Nia Jax is a better champion than Sasha Banks in 2024? What world are we living in? That's how much Sasha Banks has fell off. Nia Jax is a better world champion than Sasha fucking Banks. That's crazy. Now, Super Thick Bayley and Nia Jax, man, those two women had a good match. During the first 5 minutes, man, Nia Jax can wrestle. She gets it. It's like, man, she went into the goddamn lab for the past 3 years. Her goal was to improve in every category. I am proud of BBW Nia Jax. I'm telling you, go back and watch the first 5 minutes. Nia Jax and Super Thick Bayley, they had a one-on-one match during the first 5 minutes. It was a very solid ass match. If it was up to me, I would put BBW Nia Jax in the top 10 on the PWI list. That's how good she is. Now, what do I think about Naomi? Once again, she's also better off than Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks, she ruined the career of Naomi. But Naomi, she bounced back. Now, Naomi is having a better 2024 compared to Sasha Banks. I am very, very proud of Naomi. She overcame the Sasha Banks vortex. So let's do a count. So far, BBW, Nia Jax, Naomi, Super Thick Bayley, all three women has had better 2024s than Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks has fallen off from grace. I don't care what anybody else says. Naomi has had a better year, a better quality year than Sasha Banks. I go by quality over quantity. I don't care how many belts Sasha Banks got. That's called quantity. Naomi is involved in better angles, better stories compared to Sasha motherfucking Banks. And that is facts on facts. I must say this. When are we going to call sexy ass Io Sky the queen of War Games? I've lost count on how many times this woman has been in this match for the past 5 years. That's crazy. So who do I think was the MVP of this match? I'ma say BBW Nia Jax, the most improved fake pro wrestler of 2024. That woman is a badass. That woman was a powerhouse in this match. She's a great seller, a great heel. She gets it. Nia Jax was the most entertaining in this match. Oh yeah, by the way, y'all gotta get your fucking eyes checked. On what planet Earth is Rhea Ripley hotter than Liv Morgan? I'm like, oh, are you crazy? Who thinks that? Bruh, there's incels who catfish other incels as Liv Morgan to get money from those incels. That's how hot Liv Morgan is. People catfish as Liv Morgan to live and die in LA. Everybody wants to live and die in LA. So who do I think fell short in this match based on performance and not living up to expectations? I'ma say Tiffany Stratton. I thought she was going to steal the show. I thought this match was built around her in terms of she was supposed to have a star-making performance. She did not stand out. Super Thick BBW Nia Jax, she stood out. She was the face, the MVP of this match. Okay, yes, Tiffany Stratton, she had one good move off the cage, but that's it. She did not have any great moments in this match besides doing a cage stunt. So I'm going to say Nia Jax was the best one in this match. She was the MVP. She did all the legwork. She was dominant. I'ma say the second MVP was sexy ass Io Sky. So who was my pick to win this match? I was pulling for Team Liv Morgan. They were the rightful winners of this match, but they did not win. It was Team Rhea Ripley. I don't know why Team Rhea Ripley won. That made no sense. My pick was Team Liv Morgan. Go back and watch this match. A lot of women in this match underperformed, all except BBW, Nia Jax, and sexy ass Io Sky. Rhea did nothing. To live and die in LA, Liv Morgan, she was solid. Liv Morgan was solid in this match, but it ends there. I'm going to give this match a 6 out of 10. Last year's was way better. So the next match, Shinsuke Nakamura versus LA Cosplay for the United States Heavyweight Championship. Man, I'm loving this new gimmick of Shinsuke. You see, this is what I mean by evolving. You gotta reinvent yourself. Shinsuke has had multiple reinventions for the past 5-6 years. That's why I love Shinsuke Nakamura. He is never the same guy. Go back to his days on NXT. He is not that guy anymore. That's what I mean. You gotta evolve. Reinvent yourself. How about this? When did Adam Coleslaw sign with NXT? Last time I checked, Adam Coleslaw is the same guy from 2017 all the way from Ring of Honor. He is the same guy, same as Max. So what are my rules about evolving yourself, evolving your character? Okay, you gotta evolve at least every 3 years. That's my ballpark. That's my ceiling. You gotta evolve, you gotta reinvent every 3 years. You cannot be the same guy for 4 years, 5 years. You can't do that. Don't be like Max. Now, here's what I mean by evolving. I'm not saying to change up your gimmick. No, add more layers, add more nuances, become a Super Saiyan. That's what I mean. Be like Goku, evolve into multiple Super Saiyans. For example, Stone Cold Steve Austin during the WCW Invasion angle. He was still Stone Cold, but he evolved. Stone Cold evolved his character. Also, Kurt Angle also evolved his character. Rocky Maivia, Taker, Chris Jericho, CM Punk, The Miz. The Miz also evolved his character for the past 15 years. For example, even I have evolved my character. I used to be known as the guy that was big, buff, jacked up, who talked about fake pro wrestling. Now I am a martial artist. I evolved my character. Case in point, I want to be in movies. I want to be in martial arts movies, which means I don't want to dedicate myself to wrestling all the goddamn time. It's called reinventing yourself. That's what I did. Now, let's talk about the Botch King, LA Cosplay. How do you botch a goddamn entrance? How do you botch dropping your championship on the way to the goddamn ring? That's crazy, man. So he botches in his matches and he botches on his way to the goddamn ring. That's crazy. What I mean is, before he got into the goddamn ring, he dropped his goddamn championship. This is what I mean. He's a botch king. He botches when he wrestles and he botches on his way to the goddamn ring. That's insane in the membrane. For the past couple of weeks, I've said the LA Cosplay is the worst US champion of all time. And I was right. This dude lost against Shinsuke Nakamura, but that was my pick. I was the first one to tell you that Shinsuke should beat this guy for that belt. Was I wrong? Nope. I got video evidence. I said, you know what? I think Shinsuke should beat this guy for that championship. And he did. This is why I call myself the best at talking about fake pro wrestling. It's not being cocky if I'm always right. That's how that works. You gotta shut the fuck up, bro. Unless you are in denial of my greatness. I am great at talking about fake pro wrestling. Why? I've been watching since 1992. I know how they book. I know how they write. Triple H was taught by Vince McMahon. So I know how Triple H writes. I know how Triple H books. I knew Shinsuke was going to beat this guy. Why? He's the worst US champion of all time. Nobody cares about this guy in terms of, let's go back to Carmelo and Andrade. How come those guys felt like US champions more than LA Cosplay? It felt like he was a third wheel. LA Cosplay was a fucking third wheel in that feud. That's insane if you are the champion that they are going after. How come the crowd care more about that 7-game series more than LA Cosplay and his championship? By that logic, it felt like Carmelo was the real U.S. champion. It felt like Andrade was the real U.S. champion. I kept on telling you, but you did not want to believe me. It's crazy how, when I'm right, nobody comes back to my page to tell me that I'm fucking right. And if I'm wrong about something, oh, that's when you want to come back and say, oh, this aged like poor milk. Nah, bitch, you a fucking ass coward. That's what you are. You are a fucking coward. In terms of, you don't come back when you know I'm right. I'm right all the goddamn time. When am I ever wrong? In hindsight, I told you, Shinsuke was going to beat LA Knight. And he did. And guess what? This match was not close. This was a goddamn squash. Shinsuke was very, very dominant. This match was not close. LA Cosplay, he got out-wrestled. That's not new. Every match he wrestles, he always gets out-wrestled. That's what I mean, you idiots. All you dumbass fans of LA Cosplay, that's what I mean. You don't know shit. He can't wrestle. That's what I mean by he's the worst U.S. champion of all time. He can't wrestle. In order to be a great U.S. champion, you gotta wrestle. You gotta be a goddamn workhorse. Let's talk about Logan Paul. What was the point of having Logan Paul put over LA Cosplay? What was the point? He did nothing for this championship. LA Cosplay, he did nothing for this championship that Logan Paul put over. He brought it down. LA Knight, he brought that championship down. All the work that Paul did was all for naught because LA Cosplay fucking sucks. And I'm glad you realized that. This match was very underwhelming. It was very anticlimactic. That's not good. I don't blame Shinsuke. I blame LA Cosplay. The crowd don't care about his matches. They suck. They are boring. I made a video saying that just because you are over with the audience, that don't mean you should be a champion. Case in point, tonight, I feel like Triple H got fed up. He said, you know what? I think Shinsuke can elevate that championship that has been brought down by LA Cosplay. Based on this match was not close. This match was not competitive. That's crazy. Imagine losing your belt under a very anticlimactic finish. Nobody saw this coming but me. I told you in videos, my pick was Shinsuke Nakamura to beat this guy because he fucking sucks. Hopefully, he goes back to that mid-card. That's what he's going to do. He's going back to that mid-card and he is going to put over a lot of guys next year. I guarantee it. I think this might be my favorite version of Shinsuke Nakamura because this character, it reminds me of Hakushi from the mid-90s. That's who Shinsuke reminds me of. He reminds me of Hakushi from the mid-90s. This is a great gimmick. And he changed his whole entire act. Listen, Shinsuke, he goes from Michael Jackson to Bolo Young from Bloodsport. He goes from that to Hakushi and the Great Muta. That's called evolving. Reinvent yourself. That's what Shinsuke did, and Triple H gave him the belt because of it. Now, the next match, Sheamus versus Braun Breaker versus Ludwig Kaiser. This was a great match. Listen, Sheamus, eventually, I think he will win the IC belt. Just not now. Maybe WrestleMania, but when? Because I feel like he was the perfect guy to beat Gunther for the IC belt, but they did not go for it. So when will Sheamus win this belt? Because it seems like this is his new gimmick. When will Sheamus finally win the big-ass IC belt? Also, Braun Breaker was great in this match. This dude, he gets better every goddamn match. Also, Ludwig Kaiser also has a bright future on this roster. I say put his ass on SmackDown. I think Ludwig Kaiser should be on SmackDown. He's also a great example of you never know who's going to be the breakout guy of a tag team. Just like Dawkins and Ford. Who saw this coming? Who saw that Ludwig Kaiser was going to be better than Giovanni Vinci? Who saw that coming? Like I said, Angelo Dawkins is better than Montez Ford. You slept on Ludwig Kaiser. You thought that guy was a goddamn jobber. Look where he's at now. He's challenging for championships. Where is Giovanni Vinci? Do you want to bet against me? That's not smart, okay? That's not smart. Don't bet against me. You are going to look dumb. Just like LA Cosplay and Shinsuke Nakamura. So I don't think you want to bet against me when I tell you that Angelo Dawkins will have a better singles run than Montez Ford. I guarantee it. Because when Dawkins becomes a goddamn star, don't be a pussy, right? Come back to my page and give me my fucking props. But you are too much of a goddamn pussy. Like, I hate this shit. Every time I'm fucking right about something, nobody comes back and tells me that I'm fucking right. But if you think I'm wrong, oh, that's when you want to come back, right? Nah, bitch, you a fucking ass coward. So who do I think is going to retire Bill Goldberg? I think it should be Braun Breaker. I think his last two matchups is going to be against Gunther and Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker should be the one to retire Bill Goldberg. I think that makes sense. But man, Braun Breaker was very impressive in this match, and he was the rightful winner. It is not time for Sheamus to be the IC champion. Not yet. So this was a great choice to have Braun Breaker go over. I would say the highlight of this match was when Braun Breaker flew from the apron all the way to the table and he clotheslined both Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser. That was great shit. That dude is very athletic. Oh yeah, by the way, my grade for Shinsuke versus LA Cosplay, I will give it a 6 out of 10 because that was a squash match. Now, what do I grade Braun Breaker, Sheamus, Ludwig Kaiser? What do I grade that match? I will give it a 7. That was a very solid ass match. So what do I think about the next match? Gunther versus Dane Priest. This was a very solid ass match. And here's why. This match was way better than their match at SummerSlam. Not even close. That was a boring ass match. This match was very entertaining. Dane Priest had a great performance in this match. That guy, he knows how to sell. Also, Gunther he also had a great performance in this match. What do I think about Finn Balor interfering in this match? I was shocked because I thought Dane Priest and Finn Balor, I thought they were done. But I'm guessing we are going to see a part 2 between Finn Balor and Dane Priest. But I don't mind because Dane Priest and Finn Balor, those guys have great chemistry. They put on great matches every time they wrestle, ever since NXT. Also, Gunther won this match. That was not shocking. Everybody knew that Gunther was going to win this match. I think that Dirty Ass Dominic should be the one to beat Gunther for that world title. And here's why. Dominic was voted number 1. He is ranked number 1 when it comes to the best fake pro wrestlers under 30 years old. That means he's the best. He's the best wrestler under 30 in the whole entire world. That's what ESPN said. So by that logic, by that same metric, he should be the next world champion. Why not? That's called credibility. That's what that's called. That's called ESPN. ESPN said he's better than Max. So yes, he should be our next world champion on Raw. I think Dirty Ass Dominic should be the one to pin Gunther for that world title. So I just seen the video package of the Bloodline and the OG Bloodline doing introductions. Man, I must say, I love me some Jacob Fatu. That guy is hilarious. This dude said, "Hey, I'm Jacob Fatu. I am the Samoan werewolf. I love you, Solo." This nigga said, "I love you, Solo." That guy is hilarious. So let's talk about the next match on the card. The last match on the card. The OG Bloodline versus the new and improved Bloodline. I was shocked that main event Jey Uso was the last one to come out. That means that guy is mega over because I thought that CM Junk would be last to show up. It felt like the OG Bloodline made a sacrifice and just made Jey the star of the whole entire team. I like that. That's called being unselfish. I figured it was going to be either CM Junk or Roman that was going to come out last. So I bet you're wondering, what is the favor that CM Junk was talking about with Paul Heyman? Well, that favor is he wants to wrestle Roman next year. Most likely SummerSlam. SummerSlam next year. That is what the favor is about. I will say this, the biggest star of this match, it was Jacob Fatu. I love you, Solo. I'm telling you, the performance that Jacob Fatu had, I wanted Tiffany to have that same type of match in her War Games, but she didn't. She dropped the ball. Jacob Fatu was a star in this match. He was the MVP. This was a star-making performance for Jacob Fatu. I love you, Solo. I will say the biggest highlight of this match was big-ass Bronson Reed. He was about to do a tsunami on Roman Reigns off the goddamn cage, but CM Junk helped out Roman and he pulled him out the way. That was great shit. So who won this match? It was the OG Bloodline. This was a great match. I will give it an 8 out of 10. This was a great War Games match based on there's tons of angles in this match. We can have big-ass Bronson Reed versus CM Junk next week. And the favor was CM Junk wants to wrestle Roman next year. I guarantee it. I think that was the favor. So why would that be the favor? Because CM Junk and Roman, they have tons of history. Hell, you can make the argument that CM Junk, he helped create the Tribal Chief character. Because thanks to CM Junk in that damn podcast, it was his fault that the audience turned on Roman Reigns. Roman will never forgive CM Junk for that podcast interview on the Colt Cabana show. So Roman can thank CM Junk for becoming the Tribal Chief. So that's going to be a great match. So why does CM Junk need Paul Heyman for that favor? Well, because Roman don't want to wrestle CM Junk. So Paul has to convince Roman to give CM Junk that one-on-one match. But overall, this was a great match. I love seeing the OG Bloodline back together. But don't get it twisted. Our Tribal Chief, he is still Solo Sikoa. I love you, Solo. Don't get it twisted. Our real Tribal Chief, he is still Solo Sikoa. I do think that the OG Bloodline, they were the rightful winners. Because you can't call up CM Junk and lose this match. That would make no sense. So what do I grade this whole entire pay-per-view? I will give it a 7 out of 10. This was a very solid pay-per-view because there wasn't a lot of matches. I like that. This is not all elite fake pro wrestling. Every match meant something. Every match had an angle. Every match had a build-up. That's called fake pro wrestling 101. If you ain't got a build-up, you will not be on this pay-per-view card. That's what I love about Triple H. He don't put on matches just for the fuck of it. You gotta have a story. You gotta have a build-up in order to make his shows. That's called great booking. So this was a very, very good show. Solid. And I'm done.